let's also look at the aspect of restructuring, to improve the system in the public service. Now, when you come up with recommendations based on self-assessment or your findings from maybe a particular ministry, department, or agency, what would you say are some of the constraints that has hindered the implementation process of the, what will improve the system for a particular agency?
Well, thank you very much. Change and implementation of report is beyond us.
Yes.
We make recommendations, and those recommendations go to the steering committee and to the office of the president and the Federal Executive Council. And the implementation may not come as the way you think the government will announce, yes, we are implementing the report of what BPS have done. But you just see changes and circulars being sent out every day and every time. Example, when we had agencies rejecting or not providing access for us to deploy self-assessment tool, SGF issued a circular. Another circular was issued. That means that government is interested and is directing MDS to implement. When you see the president restructuring ministries, departments, and agencies, these are all responses to the impact assessment, the deployment of self-assessment tools, and other work that is going on by various agencies of government to streamline operations, to improve efficiency and effectiveness. Changes are not easy. They are not simple, and they are just not things that somebody would just implement overnight. But those that we are able to do, we'll make sure that we do them before even a presidential intervention comes. Example, we went to quite a number of agencies. They don't have human resource development plan, and we encourage them to do that. We went to lots of agencies. We discovered they don't have change management plans and change champions. We quickly asked them to do that.
What about training?
We went to some ministries and agencies. We discovered their websites were almost dead. And we said, you must reactivate these websites. We gave them criteria on how websites of government should look like and the content. And we run training for web administrators for all MDS in Nigeria, working again with the private sector, Nigeria Computer Society, NIRA, and others. So before it gets to the final point, BPSR try as much as we can, working with other agencies to address some of these challenges.
What about the aspect of ensuring that the manpower have the capacity, human capital development, in the aspect of training? Do you do assessment in that area?
Yes. In 2013, 14, 15, our office worked with the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation to look at the issue of capacity development and training. And that is when this idea of Lead P, Smart P came on for intensive capacity development program for public servants, especially civil servants. But beyond that, BPSR have been running quite a number of capacity development programs to address those challenges. Let me give you an example. Last year and the year 2023, we ran quite a number of trainings for information officers, working with the Ministry of Information and the Nigeria Institute of Public Relations, Nigeria Institute of Journalists, to upskill their performance, to understand the need for them to make use of new media to reach the large audience that we have. And we are hoping that going forward, we'll be running more of those programs. Last year, we ran some programs around policy development for public servants. What is a policy? How do you craft a policy? How is a policy implemented? What are the challenges around policy development? And we are doing quite a lot on ICT training, hand-holding for public servants, and we'll continue to do more of that so that we get our staff ready to work in this very turbulent environment that not only Nigerian public service, all administrators in the world are facing.
Yearly, you have been carrying out MDA's website ranking. Is it having any effect in the restructuring that you're talking about?
Well, fantastic. That program is one of my personal programs, and because it was the first program I started when I took over as acting director general of BPSR, and there was this depth of information on activities of government and MDAs, and we started with very few number of agencies, MDAs. Today we have covered over 300, and we're hoping by 2025 we'll be able to cover more than 500 MDAs. We're trying to digitalize that process. If that happens this year, then we'll be able to cover the entire public service in 2025 or 2026. What we have done there is to compel MDAs to respond to obligations on Nigeria based on the commitments of Nigeria to the international community. OGP Nigeria is a signatory, and it says you must have freedom of information. The act has been passed, so we must provide information, and that's why we say MDAs must have freedom of information portal on their website, and they must have interactive portals on their website where people can ask questions and they must provide answers to it. And we said MDAs must provide information on their staff on their nominal role. They must provide information on their budget. They must provide information on budget performance, the projects, and they must upload their annual reports annually for people to see what they have done. So that project is really successful. We have generated a lot of interest and competition. Anytime the results are released, I receive calls. Why am I not number one? Or are we number 100? Why are we not? I say, if you want, please get there. Our hope is before the end of this year, over 2026, all MDAs will be on the same operation level in terms of websites, structure, content, but most importantly, provision of information for Nigerians to transact business with them without physical contact.